Do you enjoy speaking and educating the public? And you would love to be getting paid speaking opportunities as a chiropractor. And so this is Chen Yen, your 6 and 7 figure practice makeover mentor and your host for our Chiro Secure show today. And today we're going to talk about how to get paid speaking opportunities. We'll look at what are some potential opportunities out there for you, and then what how to actually start getting those. So what's really exciting if it is that when you educate more people and teach more people about chiropractic, it can help them with understanding what you do more, and then they're more likely to want to see you. And so when you look at getting speaking opportunities and paid speaking opportunities, what are they? So paid speaking opportunities can be anywhere in it that is where so here are some of the possibilities. Conferences or associations might invite you to speak. There are also corporations that would pay you as a speaker. And did you also know that universities, whether it's traditional universities or the community colleges, they look for speakers and pay them to for you to come and speak. And so what are some of the opportunities, for example, in conference kind of situations? So there are different kinds of conferences that are of different kinds of business interests or just over all topic kinds of interest types of conferences, and you can speak in front of those organizations, and some of them are in-person ones or virtual ones. So there are many kinds of conferences and association types of events happening throughout the year in different kinds of capacities, whether it's more local, like your state, or it would be more national or even international kinds of opportunities. And in terms of what could you get paid for an opportunity like this, is that you could get opportunities that are anywhere between a couple $100s to thousands of dollars or even more if you're doing keynoting. And yes, you as a chiropractor can be doing keynoting to be um, educating more people about a particular topic, which we'll get into coming up here. So, and it's not just about how chiropractic is helpful for people, although that can also be weaved into what you're saying. So then other kinds of opportunities, also travel might be included, or you might get covered for the conference fee that you would normally pay to attend. So this could also be really good for those of you who have an interest in speaking at conferences that are geared more towards other chiropractors or other healthcare practitioners, holistic healthcare practitioners, as well as conventional medical practitioners. Have you ever thought about speaking at conferences where nurse practitioners or PAs or PTs might be, or medical doctors? And it could also be a great avenue for you to be getting put on the map, and people see you as the go-to chiropractor, and it can also translate into more referrals from providers into your practice that way too. Have you ever thought about that? And you could also be speaking at other holistic health practitioners conferences, whether acupuncturists, massage therapist conferences, naturopathic doctor conferences. And so there's a huge world of opportunities with that too. And again, they could be paid opportunities. And then there are also opportunities at corporations. So the typical kinds of corporate opportunities that many chiropractors would think about would be, oh, okay, so have a chiropractor come in and teach about ergonomics and that kind of a topic. And so, although that could be an avenue, there are also other things that you could help corporations with and get paid to do so. And those opportunities, when you get opportunities with corporations, they could be anywhere between lunch and learns that you do and even paid ones. Some companies pay even several $100s to $1,000 just for a lunch and learn. And then you could also have a longer relationship with the company doing corporate types of things, or experiences or events, every month as an ongoing basis. Or you could also end up offering virtual types of trainings that they bring you on for too. So there's a whole range of that. And then finally, as we talked about with universities and colleges, so many universities have budgets where they bring on speakers to speak to their students and faculty. So there's opportunity within each department of, like, there's student interest groups, and where they invite speakers to come in and speak, and they have a budget for that every single year. So the good part about it is when you're invited one year, you could get re-invited back in future years as well, as long as you do a good job. So, and let's not forget the community colleges too, because they also have budgets too. So there's such a huge range of opportunity for you to be paid, getting paid speaking while educating the public about how you can help, and your approach can help, and just help people understand that there are other avenues aside from just taking pills or getting surgery. So what are some opportunities that, um, like, how do you actually get these opportunities, right? So one key thing is that it is really important for you to have a good angle of a topic that people would be interested in hearing about. And that is not just a trite, like, chiropractic is great kind of a talk, which is the kind of talk that many chiropractors end up doing to attract patients in, or to try to attract patients into the practice, is have talk topics just mainly around that. But in a paid speaking opportunity, when a place is looking for you to speak on something that they're paying you for, usually, it, aside from, the types of things that are more like ergonomic related that a corporation might bring you in for, but other kinds of paid opportunities, what they're often looking for is this angle of a topic fitting with the theme. For example, let's talk about conferences or association kind of organizations where they're paying you to speak. So many times they will have a theme to that event or conference. So does what you're bringing to the table fit the angle of the theme, and does it bring a unique and fresh perspective? Because there are a lot of people who are applying or have an interest in getting paid also to speak there. And so, what would make what you're talking about interesting and engaging, and not some kind of a trite chiropractic topic? So that is very important, and will lead to you getting invited for opportunities like that. So, do you have a unique and fresh perspective, even if it's on a topic that is talked about a lot? Do you have a perhaps even a slightly controversial topic, or just overall a fresh angle at it? And then the second key is, then, do you also have experience with speaking? So many times, if you're getting paid for speaking, they're taking money out of their pockets to pay you. They would want to know that you are at a certain level of speaking, where you're not going to come in and be and say things like yeah, right, like, because then the people who are listening might end up feeling like they're falling asleep, or they might be complaining like, where did you find the speaker, it was so boring, right? So um there, when places are vetting you for a paid speaking opportunity, it helps to have some speaking experience under your belt, so that they can feel more confident in your ability to be engaging and speak, and also be helpful in what you're talking about. So one of the best ways to get paid speaking opportunities is to start speaking, even if it isn't paid speaking. So it could be free speaking kinds of opportunities. And you might think, well, but I want to get paid for my time. I'm already pretty busy, and I would love to be compensated for my time. But the cool part is that if you know what to do in a um, like in a talk that's a free talk, that can not only educate people, but also inspire new patients or referrals to come from it, then even if you did that talk for free, you could totally still get paid by um, the patients who come into your practice or by whatever it is that you're offering from the talk itself. So even in a free talk, when you have the right structure and approach, and it could also translate into patients too. And then when you get paid for that too, then it's like double dipping. So that's where those are two very important factors to getting paid speaking opportunities. And so when we look at your first step with this, it one thing is to think about what is the paradigm shift you would really like people to have about something in particular, and what might be your, like, as a thought leader, what would you bring up about that might be really different than what most people are saying out there? Sure, it's helpful to have your spine be in alignment, and sure, it's helpful to be adjusted regularly. But what is that fresh perspective you can bring people? Whether it is, for example, one of our clients, looked at how, she helps people with weight loss. So what do you think when you normally think about weight loss? You just think, oh gosh, here's another topic yet about weight loss. Here's somebody else talking about this thing, right? So um, it might feel like everybody talks about this, or it's a bit of a trite topic. So what would make that topic stand out more when you do talk about it? So for example, when she speaks, she brings in a fresh perspective by how she talks about how she believes that this country would be in a better place if there were more women leaders in um, high leadership positions. And so the reason why it's challenging for women to be able to be in high leadership positions many times is that women tend to be also juggling a lot of different things that are unique to what women juggle compared to men. And so then many times women put themselves last, and then like if their health goes, then it's just really tough to even tougher to juggle a lot of different things and truly be that leader that they could really be. And so that is her stance, and that is her one of the important platforms she brings up in her talk. And do you notice that it has nothing to do with weight loss at a glance, right? It's not just like, my stance is that we need to stop counting calories to lose weight. Yes, that might be important, but a higher level picture of her stance is something that for some people they would really align with and be like, oh, I so agree with that, right? And then for other people, they'd run in the other direction. Like, I don't think there should be. I think men are great to be in leadership positions, right? So there, this is where she might be polarizing in her idea, but it's also a very interesting concept that she could bring to the table, and she elaborates more on it than I just did right now, right? And so how she ties it back into weight loss is um, that is why she is so passionate to help women with weight loss and balancing their hormones, and because when they really are feeling amazing, then they can do amazing things in this world. And so do you notice that how this starts becoming a more interesting topic than just talking about weight loss? And so this is your first step that you could take to start thinking about your topic differently. And even if you were to do free speaking opportunities, then look at how you could bring your perspective and your unique perspective into the conversation, a unique angle into the conversation. And it might likely be even a little bit controversial, and that is what makes it interesting and engaging, and will also support you getting booked for paid speaking opportunities. And then the second step is then looking at, do you have a good signature talk in place that you could speak on that would be perfect and for organizations or wherever you'd like to get booked, or universities, or corporations. And then that way it is an engaging talk. It pulls people in. It brings different perspective, and it inspires new patients to come from it, because for many of you, that's still one of the desires that you have, is to have a way of putting yourself on the map without having to constantly be marketing or posting on social media or spending money on ads, because you don't have time for that, or you don't really want to have money go out every month and as a big expense. Or maybe you already do, but then you would just love another avenue to be bringing in new patients that is very different. Because when people see you as a speaker, they see you in a different limelight. It's not like you trying to get people's attention, like, hey, come to my practice. They already automatically see you as an expert because you're the guest speaker. So that, do you have a good signature talk in place? Do you have a way of inspiring without feeling like you're being like too pushy, and to inspire new patients to come into the practice? Do you have a way of really standing out with your angle of your topic? And do you have a way of getting booked so that people actually know about you, and start inviting you to speaking opportunities, including paid ones? And then it's a matter of also, well, how do you decide, like, how do you negotiate the paid speaking opportunities, and go from there? So for those of you who also would love to be like, if you're interested in more free kinds of opportunities as well as paid opportunities, but how do you go about getting them, and what are your what to have in place? So you're welcome to go to my free training on this at getbookedspeaking.com/virtual, and that can be helpful for you as well. So, to you getting more paid speaking opportunities and waking up the planet about how there's a different way of approaching health that doesn't have to do with surgery or taking more pills, and continue to educate more people about this, so that um, they know that there are actually options out there outside of drugs and surgery. So, to you getting paid speaking opportunities, and reaching more people and helping more people. So, till next time.
Join us each week as we bring you the best in business growth, practice management, social media marketing, networking, leadership, and lots more. If it's about women in practice and business, you'll hear it here. We hope you enjoyed this week's Facebook Live event. Please like us on Facebook, comment, and share. We look forward to seeing all of you next week for another episode of Empowering Women in Chiropractic. Now, go ahead and hit the share button and tell your friends and colleagues about the show. Thank you for watching. Have a beautiful day. This has been a Chiro Secure production.